Good morning, Wyvern, and welcome to today's assembly. Today we're going to be focusing on taking our learning at Wyvern Academy to the next level. I'm going to talk you through some of the things that are going on in the background that you should be really aware of in terms of being able to interact more with your learning inside your classrooms. Now, you know that as a school, we're committed to excellence in all that we do, and that goes from the sports clubs that you're a part of, the music sessions that you do, and obviously the learning that takes place in your classroom. And we want you to become the most effective learners that you possibly can be. Now, we've been back 4.5 weeks now, and you will have heard the term professional learner being talked about, being used throughout the school, whether that's to do with the climate for learning, your behaviour, or in terms of praising the process of learning inside your classrooms in your subject areas. And that's because it's vital for making sure that you take every opportunity that you are offered at Wyvern Academy to become the best that you can be. You are incredibly lucky, we are incredibly lucky to work in a school that is full of committed teachers who are working really, really hard to make sure that we give you the opportunities that you rightly deserve. We want you at the end of the day to be able to know more when you leave us and remember more when you leave us, so that when you do leave us, you can do whatever you want to do, be whatever you want to be. And obviously that's quite pertinent and important at the moment for year 11, as you're having the discussions with Mrs. Gibbons and thinking about where you might want to go. Now, at the start of the assembly, I talked a little bit there about what's going on in the background. But one of the reasons why I wanted to do this assembly today was to make sure that you know what's going on in the background, so it actually becomes to the foreground, that you know exactly what's going on and the reasons why. Because the more that you know about how we plan our lessons and how we plan our curriculum, the more you can be a part of that and take full advantage of those opportunities. So over the last 3 years, and again, year 9, 10 and 11, you'll be able to talk more about this, but you'll have realised that the curriculum in all of your subjects has changed quite a lot. When I'm talking about the curriculum, what I'm talking about is the things that you are taught, the way that you're taught them, and when you're taught them. And it's important that you understand all of those things so that you can become the most effective learner. Now, in every subject, one of the most visual things that you will see is that in every subject now we have learning journeys. And one of the big changes that, again, 8, 9, 10 and 11 you'll notice is that in every subject this year you will have access to your learning journeys, mostly in the form of book wraps around your exercise books. So you've got a really academic looking book that is useful in every way. And then in other subjects, obviously you've got those within your folders or within booklets in those subject areas. Now, that isn't just because it's a beautiful piece of work that the curriculum leaders and your classroom teachers have been working on over the last few years, but that's because it's really useful and really important for you to know what you are learning and when you are learning it and how it fits into what we would call the bigger picture. So year 7s, you will be able to see how some of the things that you're doing link or develop things that you were doing at primary school. Year 9s, you'll be able to link and look at how it links to what you're going to be doing in year 10, or year 11, or back when you were in year 7 and year 8. So you can start to see how it all fits together to make you the most effective in that subject area. You'll also notice that in all curriculum areas as well, in all of your classrooms, you'll have access to knowledge organisers as well. Some of these knowledge organisers are booklets, some of them are sheets and double sheet sides of paper, where you have got a lot of information, or information that is really key to moving your learning forward for that topic area or for that subject. And that's been used and created to make sure that you become more independent with your learning and using that to help move your learning on. Now, another thing that has changed over the last couple of years and has become much more and will become much more focused is the reading and literacy side of things. Now, Mr. Willis has become the literacy coordinator, and again, he's working hard in the background to set up a program called Accelerated Reader, which I know year 7, 8 and 9 you've been talked to about in your English lessons, and that'll be happening starting just before half term. But everybody, particularly Key Stage 3, obviously you're starting your lessons with 5 minutes of reading to make sure that you have doors open again and you read fiction that you want to read and that you enjoy reading, again to expand your vocabulary and make sure that you take full advantage of being a literate learner. Now, when we think about your curriculum, obviously within your curriculum, we've got all of your lessons. And again, being a professional learner, we want you to realise what you're learning and how you're learning it. So I'm going to talk just for a couple of minutes now on how you're learning it, because what you will notice over the coming weeks is that in school, your lessons will become almost wyvern lessons, and they will be structured in a way that you will understand what is necessary for your learning. So as you can see there, we're going to be following the SOLAR cycle. And the SOLAR stands for Starter, Objective, Learn, Apply, Review, and then back round. And obviously this helps really structure how you know you're going to come in and what is expected of you as a professional learner in everybody's class in Wyvern. Now, if I just take that a little bit further, and I'm going to just explain to you the expectations of you for each of those areas and what your teachers will be wanting you to do and to apply yourself with. If I take the first two, okay, after your reading at Key Stage 3, or if your teachers deem it necessary at Key Stage 4, you'll then do a starter task. And all of your starter tasks, you'll have noticed from September, have been about you recalling information from past lessons, making sure that you can remember key elements from previous lessons or past weeks or even past years that are going to help you develop your learning in that particular lesson today. We're then going to move on and you're going to be make sure that the objectives of the lesson, that's the aims of the lesson, what your teacher needs you to be able to do or to understand by the end of the lesson, that will be made really explicit, really clear for you, so you know exactly what you need to focus on in each lesson. Because as human beings, if we're told what we need to focus on, we automatically make sure that that is really clear to us, and if we don't find that it's clear, then we can ask questions. Within those objectives as well, you'll be able to see how that fits in with your learning journey, whether it's on the front of your book talking about your year, or whether it's on the back of your book where it looks at the whole 5 years that you spend at Wyvern. Now, the next two are really important. Obviously, we want you to learn, and you need to learn from the experts in the room, and the experts from the room are us as your teachers. And your teachers have got a massive metaphorical toolkit, and all of the strategies that they have learned over the years and we have developed over the years are then used to teach you in the most effective ways. Now, one of those ways is modelling, and modelling to show what a good piece of work looks like, using the subject knowledge that they are talking to you and teaching you about to model through the thought processes that you need to go through to then be successful in really learning what they are teaching you. After that becomes the apply, and you find that the apply and the learn are sort of the big chunks of your lesson. Now, you might find that a teacher teaches you something in the learn section of your lesson and then gets you to apply it for 10 minutes, and then they teach you something else on top of that and then ask you to apply it by putting the two together. And that's absolutely fine. There's lots of ways in which the SOLAR routine and lessons can work. And you've got to trust your teachers that they are teaching you in the most effective way. So by applying your lessons, that's where you'll have quiet time to really think about what you've been taught and prove that you've understood the key ideas of what you have been taught. Obviously, in year 11, that means that you're bringing together 5 years worth of work to show how you have understood and how your learning has developed, ready obviously for proving yourselves at the end of this year so that you can move on and do the things that you want to do. And the final thing is about reviewing your learning. All of your lessons will end with some kind of review to work out how successful you've been, so that your teachers then can plan for the next lesson, plan any homework that's needed to help develop any learning areas that we feel that you need to develop more to make sure that your learning has been the most effective it can be. So in terms of the skills that are needed, I'm going to just go through these, but I've talked about these as the assembly has gone on. Obviously, over the next year, 2 years, 5 years, however long you are in this school for, you will develop your literacy and numeracy skills, and they are absolutely vital. But we also want you to really think about how your learning links to everything. So making sure that what you learn in maths can then be applied in geography or in science or in technology. What you learn in English can then be applied in history. All of those different kind of things where you start to really think about how you as a learner have developed and you see the curriculum coming together. Obviously, we want you to make new learning stick. That's how we know more, that's how we remember more. So making sure that you're using skills and knowledge from the past and really trying to dig deep when you're learning new ideas and new concepts to ensure that you start to stick all of the learning together. And then obviously independent learning, we want you to consolidate your knowledge outside of the classroom as well to further develop it when you're actually inside the classroom. So any homework or independent learning tasks that are set must be done, and again that's because your teachers know what you need to do outside of the classroom to bring yourselves further on inside the classroom. So I'm just going to end just quickly with your responsibility. I've talked to you there about all of the things that your teachers are doing in the classrooms over and have been doing in the classrooms for the last 3 or 4 years. I want you to make sure that you are proud of the work that you achieve and proud of your successes. You need to make sure that you are interacting with your learning, that you're asking questions if you don't understand, that you're explaining things to others if they don't understand. You need to make sure that when your teachers give you your feedback that you complete that green pen work to the best of your ability to show progress and to show your improvements. We never stop learning. This is how I've ended this assembly. We never stop learning. We should be proud of that. And I want everybody that comes into this school or comes into your lessons, whether that's your pastoral leader, whether that's another one of your classroom teachers, I want you to be able to show something that you are proud of that really shows how you are that effective learner. I hope you have a really lovely rest of your day and you really think about all of the things there that I've talked about, and when you're in your classes next period, just have a little look around the room and see how all of this is fitting together to make you become the most effective learner that you can be.